Hi guys, welcome to another live holiday card, ornament, decoration, whatever you want to call it. We're taking something that looks really simple and we're going to do some things to make it look a little more fancy. Let's get started on this evening star. And not a big change here. We've got our evening star. This is day 13 of Doodle Wash December 2020, and I am doing this evening star as a filigree ornament. Now, this one here is really rough. I was just playing. I had seen a flat ornament that was done with kind of a filigree star put onto it, and I was sort of inspired. And the painting is going to be our ball, the background, which is going to be those branches, because I love how those evergreen branches are looking on our cards. And then we will put in the silver filigree star with the silver uniball pen, do some detailing with the lovely waterproof Eco Pen. I did this on a 140-pound cotton paper by Arteza. It's from their cotton cards, and I am just really excited. Thank you so much. Oh, I'm so glad, guys, that you are excited. I'm excited. And this is all from my massive marathon of drawing where I did 31 cute and creative hand-drawn ornaments in one long live stream that is all time-stamped. All of the ornaments are drawn during that video. And then I put it all together as a downloadable digital book that you can get from Teespring. The link is at the top of the chat. It's down in the description. And today at some point, I will have it iCarded. I know I keep saying I'm going to do the iCard right after the show, and I keep getting distracted. But if you don't have a printer to print this out, I do have it available on Amazon as a printed softcover book. And many people are starting to get it. If you buy this on Amazon, and I need to have people going in and putting some reviews in. It takes a day or so for your review to pop up. So don't be alarmed if you put a review in and it doesn't show up immediately. It usually takes them about a day to pop in. But I love having reviews, and other people like to have reviews too. Then we also have, if you don't want to color, we have the set of holiday tags. This is the first 9 days. I'm working on putting together the next 9 days, which will be released on the 19th of December. So the next 9 days of ornaments, just like that. You can take the cover, make it into cards, make it into stickers. You've got these little guys that you can cut and color. I had a really great suggestion from KM Crafts. She said get the wood cookies and print out your ornaments, do your coloring, and then decoupage them onto some wood cookies so that you have a little bit more durable ornaments. I thought that was brilliant. So thank you, and this is also available on Teespring, and you can print it out as many times as you want for your personal use and gift giving. All right, that's enough of that. We are going to hop right in here. I am going to do my fun little green leafy background. I do need to make sure that I am recording up above. I am. Excellent. So welcome, guys. This is, a calm and easygoing Sunday. I'm not into a rush and hurry about things. I am taking a couple different greens, just sort of grabbing different greens, loading them up on my brush, and making a few little pine bough type look. Branches. It's fun because you can leave the light color of the paper behind, and it gives you that look of you're looking kind of through the tree at one of those ornaments that's hanging inside. I am going to do the sort of rich red for the ornament. So this one is probably going to be one of my most traditional looking type ornaments with the red ball and the green tree. I'm trying to not put too much of the green coming into the ball. I am going to be putting the red, so if green does show up around the edge, it's okay. But this can be as quick or as slow as you want it to be. I think slow art is kind of fun. I just picked up a little bit more concentrated color. I'm going to get that right up against the edge there. And you can go in and put, see, that got a little bit messy. I'm not really happy with that. I'm going to just put a bunch of water on it and blot, and then put a little bit more of the paint. See, if it's something you don't like, you can blot it off. Now, I'm not blotting all the way to the edge on that. I don't mind. I'm going to grab and do there. That's making me feel a little better. It was just getting a little bit too blobby, I guess is what it was. But I need that branch to be kind of coming across. Put a little bit of color inside that hanger just so that it looks like it's actually hanging in front of things. All right. I want to do some darker green, so I'm going to take some of that Prussian blue and the darker green, get some shadow up in here randomly. The paint is wet, so it's going to blur. It's going to show up in interesting ways. And then when I go in, I'm going to dry, and then I will put, ooh, that ended up being a lot more green, or blue. I'm actually bringing a branch kind of up back in the corners, I think. This might be the branch that's going across down below, and it has those little bits that are coming up. Every one of these will be different. Everyone will be unique. And I like that. I like when we can have a series of things being done, series of cards, using similar backgrounds, using similar colors. They all go together, but they are totally different. I need to do my branches like you. I tried more traditional look. Aw, Miss Amy, you just have to slow down and just say, you know what? Maybe I didn't like that. I can go down here. Again, lighten it up. See, if you don't like something early, if you notice it, you can just blot it. I do want the dark down there, but I want the branches to be a little bit different and maybe not so blue. I want a little bit more green. Oh, there. See, that green makes me a lot happier. And this way we're getting some layers of color going on. Oh, yeah. Fun stuff. And that's probably maybe one more little branch that's sort of coming across the top. A little bit of water. Let them be random. Don't, I am one of those, let the branches sort of be random. Let the colors blur out if you want to. Because the focus is not actually on the tree. The focus is on the ornaments. I'm going to dry that and see how we're doing. Thank you, Sheila. What I am using right here is the number 12 round by number 12 round Mimic by Creative Mark. It is linked down below in my Amazon shop, so you can you can get it there. You can also buy it on Jerry's Artorama. Sometimes they have really awesome sales going on, so always check multiple places. Oh, Sheila, I hope that you heal quickly, and that you have no long-lasting effects. That is my wish for anyone who is dealing with any type of illness, but especially with things that we don't know a lot about. And the current situation in the world, we don't know a lot about it. We're learning more every day. But my wish is that people will heal from it and that it will have no long-lasting effects. There we go. Hey, Ranjan. Nice to see you. You were able to fix your branches, but it felt like a weird green blob tentacle. Well, you know what? This could be an underwater. I mean, look at that. That could be like seaweed right there underwater and have a jellyfish coming up. I mean, mine look kind of like green tentacles too, don't they? I'm going to do just one more layer, I think, of some of the really dark green. But not a lot, just a few spots here and there. I like the tip of this brush because it allows me to get fine details and strong strokes. So I can get broad strokes and I can have fine details. There we go. Just a few more little strokes. There. And don't be too worried about making things look perfect. Yours is going to look like yours. Mine will look like mine. And all of ours will be beautiful. Because you're using your creativity. You're thinking about people as you're doing this. That's, I think, part of it is the love that you're putting into it as you work. I like that. I'm going to dry it one more time. And thank you guys so much for being here, for joining in on our little creative journey all month long, doing fun cards that can also be used as tags, as banners, as ornaments. The neat thing is that once you have a design, you can use it so many different ways. All right, I'm just sticking my tape back down. If you want your tape to peel off easily, hit it with a heat tool or a blow dryer. I am going to paint the whole ornament a deep kind of reddish tone. And I think, let's see how this, ooh, that's pretty, but that's a little bit dark to start with. I think I'm going to take a brighter red, and then we'll use that deep crimson red. I should be able to still see my star through the paint. So I'm just painting it in. The ball is only being wet by the paint. I did not wet it first. I want this one to look really rich. So we're going to work a few layers of color in here. And then the silver metallic. Aww. Oh, so yesterday I was talking about, asking people what I should do for my January. And I think I was confusing folks because I think I do want to do my teapots, cups, and mugs, but what I'm asking for is kind of an overall theme. Do you guys want to see doodling on cups and mugs and teapots? Do you want to see patterns? Do you want to see flowers, like full flowers being painted on? We can do that, or drawn on first and then painted. Do we want to do 31 days, or do we want to do something that's fewer days, but for the whole month? I know January can be a bit of a tricky month for people. A lot of people kind of get the blues in January. So what I'm doing right now is I am lifting out a little bit of that color there. Let's see, where did I just throw my, there it is, my little sample. See, what I did is I kind of lifted out color on my sample. I go dark at the bottom, dark right up here where that little crease is, and then light and dark up in the neck. But this is the first layer of paint, and I want to make sure that I've got room to grow my light and dark. So that's why I'm kind of lifting color out right there. And you see how we can still see the star. We want that. We want to be able to see the star. Doing flowers, so maybe mugs and flowers, and doing it doodly pattern type of flowers and things like that. I kind of want to do some doodles, real doodly patterns, kind of like going on to the Pattern Central or Pattern Collection, pattern-collections.com, I think is one of the sites. There's lots of patterns there, lots of flower patterns and such. Again, just lifting out some of that color. I'm going to dry this again. Michelle, that is wonderful to hear. Thank you so much. Because I'm a beginner also with my coloring with watercolor, I mean, I'm learning as I go, but one of the things is if you are coming from other types of art, you can actually use some of those techniques that you've learned somewhere else. So, layering things up, just knowing that I'm going from light to dark on my layers, but still using layers, I'm doing these like acrylic or gouache where you layer things up. I just can't go backwards so much to the light colors after I put the dark down. So I put in my layer, my base color for that ball. I lifted out the areas where the highlights are going to be, but I don't want them to be white. I want them to have a slight tone. I think that's going to make this have more fun in the overall. So lots of people are saying you like flowers. Roses aren't your friends. I can do roses. I can do all kinds of things. I think, yeah, I like the idea of a comfy, cozy, doing like a cup or a teacup and then doing a nice detailed pattern on it and coloring it then with the watercolor and maybe putting backgrounds in with watercolor after we do that. But the marathon will be drawing the cups or teapots and drawing the patterns. Or we can just draw up all the cups and teapots, do some patterns, some basic shapes, and then during the month I can do the rest of the actual doodling during the video where we put color. What do you want? What do you guys like? I'm going to grab some of that burgundy type color and put some of that in here now. My brush is damp. I'm sort of bringing that color around. I'm letting it go into a few spaces, but I'm not being too fussy. Build the color up. It's always better to build, especially with watercolor. Build your color. Ooh, that was a really strong spot. So one of the things, if your color goes on really strong, just take a brush and plain water. You can move that color around. I'm learning things as I go. I think if we look at my ornaments from the beginning of the month to even now, my technique is getting better. And if you've been painting along with me, are you finding that your technique is getting a little bit better, that you're feeling a little more confident when you put your brush down on the paper? I am using 100% cotton paper. That really does help with being able to move and lift your colors. So Ranjan, when you post things written in your language, it will auto hide them because we don't know what you're saying. And it doesn't have an auto translate on the chat. So until somebody can look it up, it will auto hide just because that's what the chat program does. We're not trying to be mean or anything. It's just auto doing that. I'm just moving some of that color around. Let's pick that up. Let's take a look. That's actually looking really cool already, isn't it? I want this to be deeper down low. So I think I'm actually going to grab some of that Prussian blue and add that in. We will be doing some details with the doodling and black pen after we get more of that star in. I am going to bring a little bit of some shadow under the bottom of that star. I want it to kind of feel like it's puffed up a little bit, sort of embossed or raised. Oh, hey, Donna. Nice to see you. You've been an artist type for as long as you can remember, Michelle? Yeah. Doing all kinds of things. And then you can build on your skills. Using skills that you learned previously in a new way, I think is really the complete description of being creative. So, learning to put paint down or learning to put colors together. So if you were a quilter and you learned how to put colors together by quilting, you have a better sense when you're picking up colors and painting. So if you're a gardener and you put colors together in your garden, it makes it easier when you're putting colors together on a painting. Boom. Just get that a little bit darker right there. Maybe a tiny little edge of darkness here. And then back up there at the top. And I'm just using that Prussian blue right now to put those colors in. And I want to soften them out so that they don't feel like a hard line. So it feels like it does flow around the ball. Oh, that's looking good. That is looking good. And be proud of your work. If you see something in your work, say it out loud to yourself. That looks good. That self-talk that you're doing, if you're always telling yourself, oh, that's terrible, oh, that's awful, that's not looking right, it won't ever look right. But if you see something, it's like, ooh, I like how that looks. Say it out loud to yourself. The auditory part of your brain actually registers more strongly than your thinking part of your brain. So if you say it out loud to yourself, it registers more strongly in your memory because the auditory memory, and the spoken memory and the thought memory all go together. So see, we took a really super simple design. This couldn't be, let's see here, let's flip to that page. Oops. This could not have been more of a super simple design, right? You could stop right there. If you like it right there and you don't want to put the doodles on, you don't have to. If you want to just put a little bit of a few little highlights on your star, go for it. And then you could already be done in less than half an hour on a card. I'm going to dry this and grab my silver pen because I want to add more to it. You got your coloring book last night and the star was the first one you'd chosen to do. Well, isn't that awesome, Donna? Yeah, it's a great place to start. Let's see, I want to make sure that's focused. Come on, focus? Or is that just my eyeballs not being focused? Could just be my eyeballs not being focused. I love how this is turning out so far. But I do want to dry so that I can put my pen on. And I am not going to put a lot of white gouache on here. My little one that I didn't put any gouache on it at all. I think it needed a little bit of a spark, but maybe not. It all depends on how detailed I go with my doodle. Thank you, Catherine. It is Turkmen, so you are from Turkey. Ranjan, that's wonderful. I've been watching some people that are doing van life in Turkey right now. A lovely couple. Their channel is called Tread the Globe, and they actually got a 1-year residency in Turkey so they can continue to do their travels in Turkey while the illness is running its course through the world. All right, I want to zoom in on that even more. Hello, Saba. Nice to meet you. It's fun to have people from all around the world coming in. There we go. And I don't know. Let's take a look from the side view. Ooh, that can work. I'm going to go ahead and put the nice bright cap in. There might be some more detail going on after the pen goes down on the cap to bring it a little bit more strongly into that feeling that it's round. There's some shadow. One of the things with these pens, once you get quite a bit of that ink on there, it will sort of puddle. Try and end on the outside edge of something. On the outside edge of the ornament, on the outside edge of the cap. If you end in the middle, you end up with these kind of dots, sort of puddling. I don't know if you can really see that. Yeah, you can kind of see that. But if you take it up to the edge, you can actually sort of make it disappear. And then just gently lift your pen up and it will. You just came across my channel? Thank you so much, Naz. I am having a lot of fun, and I love that we can have people from around the world join together like this. So now I'm going to go in, and I'm going to do kind of a filigree type work. So what I want to do first is do my outline. I'm going to outline all of these lines with the silver pen, and I'm going to try and be slow and careful, just so I end up with my lines covering the black. I'm going to try and have my joins end on a junction, a point where it comes together, so it feels almost like the metalwork of filigree when it gets soldered together. This is a pigment ink. It is the Uniball, sorry, Uniball Signo there we go. Uniball Signo UM153. They have white, which I have, and a gold, which I have, and the silver. I bought this in a pack. I do have that listed on my Amazon store also. I'm going to move the paint out of the way so I'm not banging into it. Move the brushes out of the way. That way I can sit here and rotate. I'm going to try and rotate so that I don't run my hand through the pen. I'm not putting the pen on the outside of the ball, except for that cap. End my lines at an end. Don't pick up your pen in the middle of a line, because then it makes it harder to join it back in and have it be smooth. You could do this with acrylic paint pens. Posca pens, the fine tip Posca pens work awesomely for this. And Patty from Uruguay, oh my goodness. Thank you for joining us. This is so much fun. I am going to start in the center and go out to the tip. And if I don't hit all of the black, it's okay. Start in the center and go out to the edge. And try and do it just slow and steady. If you can draw quickly, that's fine. The framework of the star, this would be a heavier metal, a little bit heavier metal framework. I'm going to try and not go over my lines. And you notice I'm keeping my hand well out and away, and sort of, let's go to the top down again. I'm keeping my hand well out of the way of the ornament. I'm not putting it right down on top and getting my hand in. I'm sort of reaching in just a little bit. It allows you to see where your pen tip is. If you get your pen tip right up underneath of your hand, you can't see where the joins are. There we go. So conjunction junction, eh? I grew up with Schoolhouse Rock, indeed. All right. So now we're going to go in and start doing some of the little filigree type work. And filigree work is a wire work type pattern. So now I did print off now this is somebody's actual product on Zazzle, a printing project or printing product, but and this is way more detailed that I'm going to be doing. And some of these are very traditional little designs, like going in and doing this sort of heart swirl. I want to take mine into more of maybe the holly and the hearts, and maybe it will end up with that flower in the center. And if you don't feel comfortable going straight in with your pen, you can always grab a pencil. And maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll grab a pencil and let's see and I'm going to be drawing light, so it's going to be a little bit tricky. I'm going to say that sort of partway out on the center points of the long arms, I'm going to give myself a target. And I'm not going to draw this on every one of them to start off with. I think, you know what I think? I think that that is my point for doing. Let's see. Do we want to do? Nope, I don't want to do it that way. Guess what? I'm not drawing too hard. I can take a soft eraser in. There's going to be so many lines in here with the pen that you're not going to see any pencil lines by the time you're done. I think I am going to just go and make my leaf coming up. I think that's what I'll do. And they may not all match. They may be different. Let's see. Maybe I'll come out. See, this way we're going to end up with a little flower in the center. I like that. Okay, I'm just going to go in with the pen and make it easier for you to see. So, but you can certainly do it with pencil if that makes you happy or feel a little more confident. And because we're going to put different little connecting lines, this one doesn't have to connect to the sides. So we could have other designs going on. Filigree adds lots, look at that. Filigree adds tons and tons of little things, little dots, little lines to add together. So an artist friend of yours gave you two 22 by 30 canvas boards, brush sizes, and paint that's bigger than 2 fluid ounces. Oh, wow. So if you're working on 22 inches by 30, you're going to be wanting to, and you're painting in acrylic, right? So, oh, and thank you so much. I see there, I did not see that. Angie, thank you for the super chat. Wow. It sort of scrolled past really quick. I appreciate that. So is my hubby helping me film? I'm kind of a control freak. And so I have everything set up here so that I can control it. My hubby is watching, and he is there as my backup with the moderating along with Catherine, KM Crafts. So look at that. And you see, I'm not worried about these lines being outside. I like that. What else do I want to do? I think... Yes, acrylic. Okay, so acrylic paints, you can look if you want to use craft paint, I would look at the Deco Art brand and look for their 8-ounce bottles of craft paint. They're Americana paints. You can get them in all colors, and you can get them in 8-ounce bottles. And if you start on my Amazon, I'm not sure that I have any of the big bottles, but in my acrylic pouring, I think I have a few. And if you just click on one of the links and then go start looking, that helps out my channel by you starting your Amazon journey on my channel. Hello, Lori Ann. And Darcy, and Donna, and Amy, and Catherine, and I saw Mary, and Nata. Nice to meet you. And yes, and Ranjan, and all. And nobody worries about spelling in our chat. Okay, guys? Don't worry about spelling. We're all pretty good at figuring out what's going on. So I want to go in here, and I think I do want to end up with sort of a heart shape. But the easiest way to do it is, because I've got the points there already, is to make a W. See how I just went from the edge to the center, and from the center to the edge. And that's going to make a heart shape. Edge to the center, and then center to the edge. And we're just going to build this in. Now, this is not the finest tip. So we're not working super fine wire here, right? We're working in a beginner filigree. Oh, and so Mary, then what I would do is I would look for half-inch brush and 3/4 or 1-inch brushes. Get some bright, and find the biggest angle you can get. Really, for acrylic paint, brights and angles are your friends. This is a watercolor flat wash, but I just picked it up to show you. This is a 1-inch. So if you're going in and putting in a big background, 1-inch or even a 2-inch, and you can get what they call chip brushes, which are sort of a bristle brush that you can go in and just put on big backgrounds. All right. Yes, Mark is stalking. He's stalking from the other room, and he comes to the door and he whispers to me the questions folks are answering or asking. You know what? I think I want to make the outside edge of this star a little more rounded. And you'll see that on filigree, where you have the main shape is very strong and straight. And then you might see these extra little wires that are connecting. And even though I have that shadow, look at how that shadow is working going down inside, making it feel like this little star is added on top of the painting, on top of the ball. That's fun. And this, I love this kind of doodling. I think I am going to make that into a swirl and do one to the right and one to the left. And you see how I'm just rotating my way around, and I'm starting on that center line right here, starting on the center line and coming around. Start on that center line and work your way around. If you have a finer pen, and you can do this with jelly pens too. I just thought of that. I should have grabbed my sparkle pens, but I didn't, and I think maybe we'll work with those on another project. I have some new metallic gel pens from Arteza. Oh, and if you're going to Arteza, I have a coupon code right now that is deliberately creative 14. The other room, he has all the amenities. Absolutely. Oh, Gina's not feeling well. Yeah, so you guys, happy thoughts for Gina. She's, my stalwart, almost always there moderator. She had a live stream last night, and she's not feeling too well today. I'm going to put a little curl. See, this is where you start filling things in and start adding more to your filigree. But remember, look, I'm starting at a junction or a connection and then putting my little filigree swirls in. And I have my little swirls going the same direction. So both of these swirls are going towards the center. Both of these swirls are going towards the center. And stop at whatever point. Oh, that's really pretty. That's like a Christmas star flower. So I'm going to be baking cookies this afternoon, I think. It's time for the cookie baking to begin. But right now, I'm really tickled by this, and I want to keep going. So I think I'm just I'm going to make little connecting lines now. And filigree can get very, very busy looking. Maybe stop on the outside edge? I don't know. Whichever edge you stop on, just stop on a line that's already there. And it adds to that filigree feel, that wire work being soldered. So let's see. Which way am I going? I'm going to go sort of, I'm curving ever so slightly. And I am connecting the wires side to side. And I do really like how having that darker color down in there, the shadows, is making this feel more dimensional. And this is a longer show, guys. I'm not going to rush through. I want to get as much detail on here as my little heart wants. But I'm not going to make the star any bigger. I want it to feel like it really is on the ball. I want to be on the ball. Let's be on the ball. I went there before Amy did. Because I could just hear her. Make your lines go side to side and connect. Maybe this is a preview of the kinds of things we can do on our cups and mugs and teapots next month. Does that sound exciting? Does that sound fun? Does it sound relaxing? Truthfully, this is some of the most relaxing types of art you can do. This is metallic. It does shimmer. There we go. Now you can see the shimmer. I am looking at this going, I think I'm going to put maybe some holly berries, fitting them in, big ones and little ones. They don't have to all match. And so my brain, I'm hearing songs in my head as I'm doing this. I don't have any music on for me. So there, and this is going to date me completely. When I was a kid, the Osmonds, the Osmond family, did a Christmas album. And a couple years ago, my sister found the album on CD. And she gifted all of us a copy of the album. And one of the songs is Pine Cones and Holly Berries. Apples for you, something for me, red striped candy, nutcracker handy, kettle a bubblin', hot as can be. Snow clouds lay low and threatening. Maybe it will, maybe it won't, praying it will. The brightest fireplace shines in every face, waiting for Christmas Day. So, and just think of it as being sung by the Osmond family. So it's very cheery, very chipper, very full of harmony. I'm just going and putting in some of those little connector lines for the holly. And some of it becomes like a puzzle as you're looking at it. And you go, how does that connect? There you go. That's how they connect. Always connect from a main line out. We're getting more and more detailed. We will be able to get a little bit more clear on where the where the metal is sort of standing up above by putting in some shadows with our black pen. Ricky Nelson. Absolutely. Um, he was a little bit ahead of me. I was more of a, well, somewhere between David Cassidy and Sean Cassidy. You know? Somewhere between the Partridge Family and the Hardy Boys. Jackson 5 and Osmond's cartoons. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, so let's see. I think I'm going to put another little heart swirl coming back, and this one is going to get filled in. Some things can be filled in, so we're going to have little silver hearts. And then I think I'm going to go and grab my black pen. Because we are doing this on paper, we don't have to be as conscientious about making all of the lines connect to the outside. See, because if this was real filigree, you would not have this floating free. You would have it connected. Otherwise, it would catch on things. So that's why most filigree is actually fully connected somehow. I'm going to pull that dot right down to the point. So do you guys have any songs that are or people that you like to listen to in the winter time? I have really started liking, and it's available on YouTube. You can look for the Sting Winter Concert in Durham Cathedral. Oh my goodness. It is wonderful. You know, I think I'm going to make those berries into solid silver balls instead of berries. And if you bring your pen out to the edge, you don't end up with that little nubbin right in the middle. Out to the edge. Let's go ahead and put it on that side. So, color it in. I go into the center and then I work back out to the edge and then lift up on an edge. So, or you can start in the center and work your way out. That's even better. See, we learn things as we're moving along. That one's a little guy, and this one's a bigger one. And if I want a little more detail, I can use my pen to clean up the edge and make it feel a little more round. Let's see, maybe just a few little lines going up on those leaves. There we go. Thank you guys so much for being here. And if you're new, I'm Stephanie from Deliberately Creative, and this is a place to find your creativity, work on your skills, build your skills, learn how to do all kinds of things. We do. Oh my gosh. Okay, guys, I have to zoom out here so we can take a better look at that. Look at that. Whoa, that is looking so cool. So we work on building our own creativity. We are all beginners. Every time we start a new project or a new skill, we're a beginner. And the beginner time is like the most fun time. Now, this is before I put any black shadow details, but I wanted you to see that's where we are. And if you like it where it is, you could just put the little bit of detail under the cap. So I'm going to put a little detail right here on the edges and a little line. Without getting my hand in it, I will move it. Put a little shadow underneath of the cap, a little shadow underneath of the hanger. And doesn't that already feel like it's really real? But I'm going to continue. If you want to head on out, that is fine. I am here for you. I'm here for me. And I'm here because I want to be here. And I want you to be here too and have fun. So yeah, if you could send chicken soup and crackers, you totally would to Gina. Yeah. Led Zeppelin, Darcy. Interesting. I will honestly say that I never really interested in the more hard rock. I haven't listened to a lot of it. But yeah, I love that there's so many different things that people find as holiday. So what I'm going to do is just start putting a few little shadow lines. I'm not outlining completely every single line. I might say the light is kind of coming from above, sort of hitting. You see how we have that shine right here? So the light's kind of coming from above. The shadows are going to be towards the bottom of these lines. So the shadow will not be in the same spot on all of the little filigrees, right? So going to the bottom of my little silver lines, just putting a little bit of pen in. It starts making it feel like the silver is lifted ever so slightly. Chicken soup has lots of onion and garlic in it, and those have actually been proven to have properties that do lessen the symptoms of the common cold. It will not cure the common cold, at least not yet. They have not said that it will cure it, but it does reduce the symptoms. Also, the breathing of the steam helps to open your nasal passages and create a better opportunity for your body to heal. So little lines here and there. And because I'm saying the light's coming from up here, the shadow lines will actually be, as long as I keep the ornament in the same orientation, the shadow lines down here will actually be on the top side. If this was to be rotated, these lines would look like like I'm drawing them in the wrong place, right? But because this design has an orientation that's very specifically hanging, we can go like this and just put those little black lines in here and there. You like some good Christmas rock there, Catherine? Yeah? Oh, I love that you guys are having fun and sharing your tips, sharing your tricks for getting through the winter. I'm actually going to separate that just a little bit. Even though that line is above, I'm going to put it in just because I want those berries to sort of stand out a little bit. So this one, the lines are coming from, the shadow is coming from the top and the bottom, like that. So you have just these pretty little lines going in. Very, very delicate, very, very meditative. This is the kind of thing that I absolutely love about doing pen and ink. I love the tiny little details. I love putting in those little sparks of pen that pop it up. See? The underside of that and the underside of this. Boom. And the neat thing here is if I went and put a little too much of a line someplace, it just looks like the light is mixed, like you have multiple lighting sources. But what do you think, guys? Are you enjoying this? Yeah, I am. Super, super enjoying this. Shadow under there, the shadow there. This is a really good exercise also in learning about light and learning how light moves around. Look at that. Oh, this is just becoming so three-dimensional, isn't it? And it's just a little bit of pen, and it's easy doodling. It's not stressful. There's a little bit of thought involved. There we go. Hey, Shauna, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. I appreciate all of you. And please know that coming in, saying hi, watching a little bit, and heading out is perfectly fine. And you can always come back and watch the rest of the show at a later time. You're not tied like like broadcast TV back in the day when if it was 8 o'clock on Sunday night or 7 o'clock on Sunday night, you watched The Wonderful World of Disney. And if you didn't watch it then, you didn't get to see it because that was before we had the ability to record or get reruns. They didn't do a lot of reruns in the evening that I remember. I'm just putting that shadow underneath because it helps me to remember that that's the direction I'm going here. Putting that shadow in. All right, Debbie, you have a great day. And thank you, Lori. But I hope that you guys are enjoying this. And if you're interested in the basic patterns, we're gonna stop here. I'm gonna wiggle a little bit and zoom out so we can really take a look at this. Look at that. Isn't that looking... Okay, again, what I said. Tell yourself you're doing a good job. When you see that you're doing a good job, do that. Tell yourself. It really, really helps. So if you want the patterns for all of my designs, now this one started at the beginning of the show as just this. Okay? That's what we did. We went from our basic pattern on a piece of watercolor paper and made it. If you're doing this in the printed coloring book, recommendation is to slip some junk mail or a card or something like that inside. Do your work that you want to do. Pen, pencil, very little wet work on this type of paper. It is a thinner paper, better for dry media. And the back is just a light gray dot grid, and it does not show through to the front side. This book is available on Amazon, and the pattern book right here is available on Teespring for instant download worldwide. There we go. Yeah, I remember our first VCR. It was humongous. I remember the first VCR that we ever had at school, and they had to have it on a cart to move it from room to room because the school only had one VCR, and they had to buy videotapes, and those videotapes were so expensive. And when they got to a point where they had like 4 or 5 VCRs in the school, that was like, wow, really rocking. But they still, the tapes were so expensive, just the blank tapes to record onto. And first, they didn't even think about it really in school for recording. They used it in school for, documentaries and things that would have come on actual reels of film. I'm going to work my way around the other side, adding a little more dark. And if you start getting tired while you're working on something like this, you can stop at any point. I could put this aside, go get a cup of tea, go do something else for a while, come back and be refreshed. Especially when you're working on things that are smaller, more detailed. Sometimes your eyes can get stressed and strained. Pong on TV, so high tech. Absolutely. I remember Pong. I remember the first Ataris. I remember the ColecoVision that Mark and I had when we first got married. And he would stay up hours after I would go to bed playing games, Donkey Kong on ColecoVision. There was also a Space Odyssey, 2001, A Space Odyssey. And there was you had the Waldo little, you directed a little robot to go and fix circuits in HAL. That one was actually one of my favorite games, and I cannot even remember the name of that. But, at the time, it was one of my favorite games. I don't do a ton of gaming anymore. A bit of Candy Crush. But, yeah. Fun stuff. Okay, and then there's a little bit of shadow inside those leaves or petals. Could be a poinsettia. Don't know. Kind of made them backwards, so they're just sort of petals. I feel like that's out of focus ever so slightly. I did not play D&D. I played the text dungeon games. So our first computer when I was a kid was it was called an Interact, and it was only made for 2 years, 1 year in the United States and 1 year in France. We got it the first year it was ever released, and it was a 16K memory, that whopping 16K. If I draw a line on a piece of paper, it's going to be 16K. Okay, so it was really, really low memory. You ran it with an audio cassette tape. You could download programs in BASIC that people were doing and submitting to an AM radio station, that you could download programs off the air and see what people were saying. So most of the programs were actually, because you didn't know what you were getting. I mean, there was no such thing as viruses at that time in the computer world, because computers were so new. This was like 1978, and people getting computers at home was a really new thing. Having a computer that didn't take up an entire room was a really new thing. And so we would get little programs like, "Hi, I'm Mike from Australia." And then it would scroll up the page, and it would never end, because people didn't understand the if, then, next, and then stop, because it was so new. But I did go to college for computer programming and data processing. So I'm trying to just drop these shadows in so it makes sense with the light from above. The shadows are down below. Your mom had a Tandy? Yep. So we played the dungeon text games. So it was move forward 3 steps, or move south. It wasn't even, you had to do everything on the cardinal directions. So it was north, south, east, west, and then it was northwest, north, south, northwest, southwest, southeast, northeast. There we go. All of those. So yeah, you had to move in the cardinal direction. So you would say 2 steps north, and you would take grid paper and you would grid out what was going on. So you would make your maze as you were gridding it. It was, very nerdy, very nerdy. Don't like that. That's okay. If you put a line and you don't like it, and it's inside of a silvery space, look at that. I can just make that line disappear and say I didn't like that so much. And I went a little high on that one. See, I can go fix things. I want to make that a little more round. There. Like that. Oh, this is coming together really, really well. But it is detail. And so you got a little bit of my tech world. So then I worked in education for many years, for over 20 years in middle school as the computer technology support specialist. So I wasn't programming per se anymore. I was supporting end users. And that was a lot of fun. And, it got to a certain point, though, where it felt like things had changed more than I wanted. And it wasn't the technology changing. I could deal with technology changing every day. No big deal. But the way kids were behaving in the last few years really, really was disheartening. And I just was getting to the point of, it's time for me to do something new. So that's why I started doing the YouTube channel even before I had stopped working for the district. There we go. Oop, got to get that section right there. Needs a little bit of dark and a few of those leaves in there at the center. But you can always go back if you see something after the fact. If you still own the card or the artwork, you can just pop back in there, add a little bit of detail. So I want to say thank you. I am so grateful to every single person who is here watching. I am grateful to every person who decides to click that like button, subscribe to the channel, that likes to share their artwork with me on social media. I am grateful to you all for all of those things. Oh, wow. You know, I really don't want to put any more light and shadow on the ball. I think it looks good. I think we need to just zoom out and pull the tape off. Oh, I do need to sign it. And I am actually putting my little signature on the ball itself because in black, so it's not really noticeable. But since I am making tags like these, zoom out farther. Since I am making tags like these that people can download with the background and with cutting it out, having the signature on the little ball just makes it so I don't have to remember to sign it too. This set is available on my Teespring store. It's $3, instant download, and then you have gift tags. I'm letting that dry for just a second before I pull the tape off. All of the original designs were done and put into a digital download. It's available on Teespring also, instant download. And if you don't have a printer, I do have my coloring book available on Amazon, 31 cute and creative winter ornaments. So there's 31 pictures to color in here and to use your own imagination to make them even better. So we started with this one and we ended up with that one. I think that is pretty darn spectacular. It's like, let's get that tape off of there. And I'm going to start right here and pull the tape off. The cotton paper is amazing for releasing this drafting tape. It does not pull up the drafting tape. It does not pull up any of the fibers on the paper. As long as you get it pressed down really well, it doesn't leak underneath the edge. And if it does leak and you don't like it, you can always use a little bit of gouache and clean it up. But we lucked out this time. So here we go, guys. I am really tickled by this. I hope you are. I hope that you will click that like button, subscribe to the channel, share the video with your friends. Make sure to check out the iCard today. At some point, hopefully soon, I will get the 31 Designs Marathon linked up there and the playlist that has all of the designs being added to it as a painting. And I have started putting things as real quick short videos. So my hashtag shorts, I am starting to upload some of these also. It's fun and it's a way to get a quick taste of my artwork. Remember, go out and do something creative. Take care of yourself so you can take care of those around you. And I want to see you back here again tomorrow when we do the garland, which is on a ball like this. And this is going to be another one of those solid balls like this one. with this real pretty little garland. And I'm kind of stuck on these leaves. I really like the tree background right now, and I think that would be really pretty. Maybe in a deep purple with yellow lights. We'll say this is a newfangled one that's got the light up inside of it. We'll see how that goes, and I will see you tomorrow.